Sometimes we're tempted to feel like the world owes us something. We feel there are things that ought to come to us naturally at certain stages in our life, maybe as a result of our age, academic qualification, or whatever it is. And we think that we say things like, I'm not supposed to be here in this stage in my life. I'm supposed to be married at this stage. I'm supposed to own a house, and the list goes on. But the fact is this: the world owes us nothing. The world was here before we came, and will continue to be here even after we're gone, until God decides otherwise. My name is Ernestunde Kutu, and you're welcome once again to my series titled The Christian Walk, a series that shares insight for a productive Christian walk. Today we'll be talking about something also very interesting. We'll be talking about taking responsibility for our life, and it's going to be very interesting. Please don't go away. Alright, I'm back. A lot of time we say life is unfair when things are not going our way. But when we say life is unfair, what we are actually saying is that God is unfair. The question is God really unfair? You and I know that the answer is that God is not unfair. He's ever so fair. When things are not going well with us, we complain. But when things are going smooth, we say life is good, God is good. But when things goes left, we start complaining. But we can't be like that. We need to be like Job. Job is one person that understood the fact that God is sovereign and He cannot be unfair. In Job 2:9-10, it tells us, and we know what happened to Job. He lost his keys, all his assets, and he almost lost his life. He was just there. All was left was just his wife. And so the wife said to him in this passage, "Are you still maintaining your integrity? Curse God and die." He replied, "Are you still talking like a foolish woman? Shall we accept good from God and not bad and not trouble?" In all this, Job did not sin against God in what he said. Life is not unfair, and God is not unfair. Life is what it is, and we need just to take responsibility for it and accept it the way it is. We say we're not supposed to be here. At this stage, as a couple, we need to have our own home, a duplex by now, be financially stable, and the list goes on. And we get into this self-indulgence, this self-focus. And it gets worse when we start comparing ourselves to others. Oh, this young lady is married. I became a Christian before him. I'm much older than him. And we just get into this grumbling and complaining mode. But in fact, we just need to nip it in the bud and accept it for what it is. Our complaining and grumbling is just sin. It's pure ingratitude to God. And we just basically have to take responsibility for it. And we're thankful for what we have. Why? Because the situation can be worse. Yes, it could be better, but it actually can be worse. And so we have the right to our feelings, to feel the way you feel. But you and I know that feelings can be very, very deceitful. Jeremiah 17:9 tells us, "Say the heart of man is deceitful above all things, and beyond cure. Who can understand it?" Meaning that we can deceive ourselves without even knowing it sometimes. Feelings can be so deceitful to the point that we can even start blaming God and others for the things that we do wrong. But this is very true. Proverbs 19:3 tells us, it says, "A person own folly leads him or her to ruin, and their heart rages against God." Can you believe that? It is often said that where we are at is a culmination of all our life decisions up to that point. You are where you are at because of the decisions you've taken over time. How can you think you can live beyond your means and not face severe financial consequence? Is that possible? You borrow money and spend without having a proper plan to pay. And then when the issues come in, you start blaming God. That is wrong. You mismanage your fund and the opportunity you have in life. You put your family in a fix and you blame God. The worst part of it sometimes is that we will start having an attitude to others. People around us who seem to be getting along, who have managed their funds and their life and opportunities better, who seem to be more comfortable or doing better than us. We start having an attitude to them. And sometimes when we ask for help from them, from people, and they say they're not able to help or they don't have at that point in time, or what they give us is not what we expect, we start having attitude. We start complaining. How can this person give me this amount? He earns this amount, he has this. And we start calculating for people. That is wrong. Absolutely wrong. We don't have a right to do that. And nobody owes us. We need to learn to take responsibility for our life. Remember what Galatians 6:1-10 says. Now, it's a long passage, but I'm not going to go through. I'll just give us a bit of what it says. And it says a lot. It says that we can share each other's burden, but everybody should carry his own load. What does that mean? It means that we have responsibilities that we need to take care of ourselves. People just can't carry our burden for us. You can't have money to buy iPhones, expensive phone, buy wigs and stuff like that. And then you can't take care of your basic responsibilities and you expect people to carry your burden. That is purely being irresponsible, and we can't encourage that. A typical example is for campus. I've been on campus too, and I know how it is. On campus, we also have the most expensive phones and stuff and clothes. And with we buy iPhones and expensive stuff, and then we ask for help from aunties and uncles that are managing the Android phones. And sometimes we're not ready to help and lift a finger or work for this money. And when we're not given, or whatever you're giving is little, we start calculating and coming like this uncle is stingy, that uncle is stingy. That is wrong. The point I'm making is that we need to take responsibility for our life and be thankful for what you have, making the most of it. The question I believe we actually have to ask ourselves sometimes, which tells us in verse 7, is that what kind of a person are you? Verse 7 says, do not be deceived. A man reap what he sows. God cannot be mocked. What are you sowing? Are you sowing generosity? Are you a generous person? Are you generous with your time, with your money? Or do you believe you're entitled to everything? People just need to give to you and you don't have to give back. It doesn't work like that. The Christian life is a life of responsibility, and we need to take responsibility for our life. Let's not be like Adam. God is not impressed by blame shifting. We all know what happened to Adam. God blessed him with Eve, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. And when things went wrong, what did he do? He blamed God. Blame shifting. God is not impressed by it. So let's take responsibility. In conclusion, I want us to know that life does not owe us a thing. The world does not revolve around us. There are several billions of people in this life. So let's take responsibility for our life. Places, areas you made mistake in your life, take responsibility, take correction. And if you need help, be humble about it. Ask for help and appreciate whatever is given to you. Just some practicals before we go. Take some time to honestly examine yourself and your life. Be true to yourself. And there are things you've done wrong, areas you've gone wrong, take responsibility and ask God to help you. And if there are areas that you're not responsible for, that you don't have control over, things that happen to you that you really could not do anything about it, then ask God to give you the grace to accept your situation and to give you the guidance going forward to make the most of the opportunity. Because really you can't do much about your past, but you can do so much about your future. So look ahead and ask for God's help and take responsibility for your life, because life is what you make it. Next week, we will be talking about something equally important. So next week, we'll be talking about trusting in God. And so I want you to keep it a date with me. Next week, let us get together again as I share my thoughts on trusting in God. Until then, it's bye and stay safe.